Well, well, well. 'Twas a horrible weekend if you're a betting man, but a muy caliente one if you're an Argentinian. The Wallabies showed there's still some dog left in rugby Australian. One more weekend left of TRC action. Who will come away with the championship and who will take home the dirty spoon? Goedemiddag and welcome to Rugby Heads, powered by the Big Athletic Club. What a weekend of code it was. We want to jump straight into it, but before we get started, my name's Sione, and joining me are my fellow rugby nerds, Nemani Nandolo and Alfonso Hornemia. Welcome, boys. Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks, mate.
How's it?
All right, we've got a lot to go through, but quickly to rundown of today's show. We start off with our top performers of the week, our opportunity to give flowers to the players that stood out for us over the weekend, and then we go dive in round the grounds, review and preview the action from the TRC leading up to the last round this coming weekend, and then we pick our team of the week from the TRC, and then we preview the WXV series, which is kicks off this weekend, and then we go update our top 14 teams, and then debrief the Currie Cup Grand Final, and then viewers' questions and tips of the week. Now, Nems, you want to kick us off with your top performer of the week?
Good evening, boys. My top performer was Caleb Muntz, played for Fiji and the PNC champions. I'm sure we'll cover that later on in the show, but Caleb Muntz, 6 from 6. I was really impressed with the way he ran the game, ran the cutter, and the help, obviously with the help of Armstrong Ravula at fullback. That combination was amazing. So for me, Caleb Muntz, 6 from 6, and was the difference in their win. And champions of PNC.
Oh, I think Nem's got my notes because I have the exact same notes.
I could tell as soon as you said
Caleb Muntz, 6 from 6. It's exactly the same. And man, I tell you what, he's not a traditional Fijian fly half by any means. So it was good to see him be a general for that Fijian side. Man, he was good. He kicked that 22-22, and that was a real momentum swing right there. And you're right, him at 10 and Ravula at 15, man, they work well together. I see that as a draw, 10-15 right there. Where I think Caleb Muntz is more of a, I wouldn't say, more of a settled head, you'd say, at 10, and just gets the team around. But Caleb Muntz for sure was player of the week.
My one's Nems shouted him out a few weeks ago, but Felipe Contabomi and what they're doing over in Argentina at the moment, mate. We go on about Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, having players from all around the world. Argentina do just that, and they've been doing it since day dot, and they've shown how to do it. So it's got to be hard work for coaches like that to pull players from competitions around the world. And mate, whatever they're doing, it's working, and the trajectory of the team's just I'm a big fan. Yeah, I felt like I was part Argentinian watching the game this morning. But we'll get into it in around the grounds, which we'll start off with BLEDISLOE Cup. All Blacks scrape away with the win over in Sydney. Nems, thoughts on the game, and who stood out for you in this one?
Look, it was a bit of, like I said, told you guys over the weekend, it was a bit of a weird game. You know, the All Blacks came out firing, and we all thought, geez, this is going to get worse, and then after that it sort of broke down. And look, I don't think the Wallabies played well. I think the All Blacks shot themselves in the foot. If they got those 3 tries, it would have blown out to 50 points. But what I would give Australia is they showed character, a lot of character. They showed, and by all means, it wasn't a good game. Like, they didn't play any better than the All Blacks, but I just thought they showed character, and that character came in when those 3 tries got disallowed, with obviously Valentini running down D-Mac, which then forced that. Guys were actually still working their butts off. I thought that in the first half, Australia, the urgency off the line probably let them down a bit. They just sometimes didn't even want to get up, and I think they gave the All Blacks a bit too much room, and then that got changed, I think, in the second half. But again, the All Blacks, it wasn't the All Blacks that we used to know. Look, like I said, the first 20 minutes, they were perfect. And then, they just sort of fell off the wheel there. So for me, my standout was hooker substitute for the Wallabies, came off the bench.
BPA.
Mosa.
Yeah, I thought he played really well. But not only that, I think the bench, the Wallaby bench, they made an impact when they came on. That was really impressive. I think for me, to see them come on and make a difference when they needed that, I think that was probably the difference in the Wallabies hanging and losing by 3 points. But what I will finish off is that, we all talk about, look, it was a good game, it was a close game. The one thing I respect about the Wallaby coach, Schmidt, said in the papers, I read, he said, you can't celebrate a loss. It's good and all we've lost by 3, but let's not celebrate coming second. You know what I mean? So I think for me that article really stood out, and I think we just lost and we're rebuilding, or the Wallabies are rebuilding. I just think that Schmidt, just to remind us that, look, we're not happy as well, you know. So, that was my sort of take on the game.
Yeah, it's true, because after the final whistle, we did lose, but I felt like it was a win for us, because in the first half, I was ready to quit, mate. I was literally ready to quit, because I know last weekend I said I had a feeling, and the feeling, in the first half I was like, mate, because there was that one time, it's an attitude thing, I think, and it's I think there was a drop ball by the Wallabies who went back, and then there was like 3 Wallabies around it, and then Sam Kane just comes straight in and dives on the ball, and that's just the attitude thing. But luckily in the second half, they made those little adjustments, and but still a long way to go. But Fonz, you're, as a All Blacks fan, how did you see the game?
Very similar to what both of you just said. But first, I mean, good to see another afternoon game, 68,000 in Sydney. Great time to put that game. Yeah, I think both teams were guilty of missed opportunities. There were so many disallowed tries and a lot of errors, a lot of errors. And it's like maybe the last pass towards the end off a break or something where it kind of didn't need to be pushed and maybe take the contact and recycle. But I think especially when the All Blacks had 2 in the bin in that last 10 minutes, I actually thought that game was there for the taking for the Wallabies. And I actually thought that the Wallabies were going to get there in the end, especially after when Clark slapped that ball down. Look, I think that's the best 30 minutes I've seen from Australia this year, I think. I just think that second half, you saw as the game went on and progressed, Australia were actually asking questions of the defence a lot more. And they were actually, having the options, the guys running short and guys playing out the back. And you actually see the ball getting moved. And I haven't seen that enough, I think, especially against South Africa. And then when they went 80 metres and nearly scored off the kickoff, just because they just shifted the point of attack and actually asked questions of that defence. And defenders actually had to make decisions on whether to come in or out. So I thought that was real good to see from the Wallabies. I think Taniela needs more minutes. I think 45 minutes is enough. Whether or not that's a fitness thing or an injury thing, or I'm not too sure. I think he needs to play more minutes. He's too good of a player just to play 45 minutes. Fraser McWright, I thought the 2 boys from Brothers, Fraser McWright, and even the captain for the day, Harry Wilson, I thought they played well. Harry Wilson's not a flash player. He just gets in there, carries hard, and his work rate is up there. I had those 2 guys for the Wallabies. I thought Ratima played well. Quick ball at halfback, a lot quicker than I think than TJ gives him. Satiti and Caleb Clark. Caleb Clark is dangerous. He's you give him half a gap and he'll take it. I thought those 3 played well, but the All Blacks struggled. They didn't score in the last 20 minutes again, and that's quite worrying. Normally, they step up another gear. So it's a bit worrying that last 20 minutes again. Also disciplines, 6 yellow cards in the Rugby Championship. They've only, since the World Cup final, they've only had 2 games with no yellow cards. So if they actually got their discipline a bit better, then they wouldn't be able to put themselves under pressure. So I think discipline's another key thing for the All Blacks. But, they got the win. Wasn't pretty. And I know a lot of people in New Zealand aren't happy. It's quite it's quite a hard case, you know. A win's a win, as far as I'm concerned. You take it.
Yeah.
The Wallabies' impact off the bench was actually real good. Who's the back row for the Waratahs? Come off the bench.
Gleeson.
Yeah.
He come on and actually did some damage out there, I thought. And that's what you want from your bench. And it's going to be another good game in Wellington. I actually can't wait.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the Wallabies bench did a lot more than what the All Blacks bench did, impact-wise. Luke Kahn was outstanding. We definitely missed him last week or the last game, and I felt like BPA really helped Alan at scrum times because, from the last few games or the series, Alan's been a bit shaky there at tight head, but I feel like you need that hooker sometimes because the hooker's got to choose whether to help the loose head more or the tight head, and I feel like BPA would have used all that girth to help Alan out in that second half. So, and obviously All Blacks were massive favourites coming into on the weekend, but leading into this weekend in Wellington, they don't have a good record, and off the Wallabies comeback, it looks like they're starting to figure things out. Nems, what do you think the match prediction? What's your match predictions for this weekend coming?
Look, if Australia can show the character that they showed, last in Sydney, look, I'd boldly say Australia could come away with the win here.
Yeah.
And that's on the back of the All Blacks probably not, last 20 minutes, costing them. I wonder if they're gonna make any changes with a 5'8", in both teams really, but. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think the All Blacks have that, that aura that they used to have. If that makes sense, without being disrespectful to them. I think they're a very good team, but teams like, you've got teams like Argentina and, they've just come off a tour for losing 2 games on the trot, right? And then almost losing. They've lost to Argentina in Wellington, and then they almost lost yesterday. So I don't know if there's a bit of whatever's going on in the camp, because this is not the All Blacks that we know. But look, for the Wallabies, I think they could go out and win this. I reckon they can, if they stick to their guns and their game plan, urgency off the line. When it comes to defence, I thought in the first half they just let the All Blacks, and I said this, they just let the All Blacks run. Yeah. And like you said, you saw that bit where the ball was behind me, was Lolosio, another guy, who was it? Paisami, and they just looked at it. Yeah. Like, that's a no-no. Like, you've got to be diving on that. And like you said, that's an attitude thing. I think if they have going there with the right attitude and the right mindset, it's going to be a good game for the Wallabies. But again, I'm starting to doubt whether the All Blacks...
Sounds like a Wallabies win from you.
No. I just want the All Blacks, because we're used to the All Blacks being so dominant.
Yeah.
And they were in the first 20 minutes. And then it's just I don't know, Fonzie probably know, is their game plan not suiting them, or they're trying too much, or they've got people playing the wrong positions? Now, I know there's a lot of debate on DMAC playing at 10. I've seen in the comments and, the media in New Zealand saying, he shouldn't be there, he should be a fullback or whatnot. But then who do you put there? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just think there's a bit of, from outside in, as punters and as, couch surfers that watch rugby, I feel like, it looks like there's a bit of uncalm waters, I'd say, in that squad. So hopefully, but look, I'd boldly say the Wallabies could win a dead rubber here.
Let's go. It was a draw last time in Wellington, I believe they played, and who was it? Hodge just missed that kick, hit the post to win it. Fons, who do you think? Do you think? Because I think the Wallabies need changes. I think they need Jake Gordon starting, because Tate in the second half, he needs to come on in the second half. The way he needs to stay there, and Noah, it looked like it took him 40 minutes. Literally took him 40 minutes to get into the game and then get his ascendancy of telling the pigs where to go. Yeah, I'd like to see him finish games and then Dono start games. But
but I would like to see Tom Liner get a crack. I just think he's a bit more your British your sort of UK sort of style of 10s,
He's probably more suited for the Northern Tour in 2 months.
Yeah, but he's got, having that calm head though, you know what I mean? Like, the Tenzo, they're not. They can. I'm not saying that Lolosio can't kick or tackle, but
just see what he's got. Just see what he's got. You reckon?
Yeah, just throw him in there. Like, it's not like, and what a game to do it in. I don't think Australia don't think have the luxury to be, we'll test plays in Northern Hemisphere. Nah, man, you need to be testing plays now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, they should have brought him on last week, I reckon.
Yeah.
And Jake Gordon, and you know me, I'm a big fan of Jake.
Yeah.
He has to be in that team. He's just, I think they missed him a bit there.
They missed him, 100.
Yep.
Because his work rate and his ability to leadership was needed out there. And I just, when I saw it, I texted him, but he didn't reply back. So, friends. So, Jake, you're watching this, bruss. Jake the Muss.
I forgot to ask you what your prediction is for this weekend.
I still have All Blacks, but I have it in a tight one.
Yeah.
I do have it in a very tight one again. But if I'm the Wallabies, Gordon's got to come back and start. I still think he's the Wallabies' best halfback at the moment, and bring Tate off the bench against some tied defenders. I like that shout out by Liner. He's just different from the other fly halves, I think, going around Australia. But this game is going to be close, I think. I do know Geordie Barrett was seen at Sydney Airport with a knee brace on.
Oh yes, he came off
for quite a while too. So not only for the All Black fans, but for Leinster as well.
Oh yeah,
that's not a good sign. So it'd be interesting to see who they play. If maybe they might even look to David Havili or Anton Leonard-Brown to get some game time.
Yeah,
that's the two centres that can play inside centre. So it's going to be interesting what the All Blacks are going to bring out as well.
Mate, it's going to be tight. So for our punters, what do you reckon? We'll just Wallabies 1-12 or
let's go Wallabies 1-12 this week.
Yep.
Yeah, in Wellington.
That's the Smoky.
Yeah, let's go. Smoky lock in Wallabies 1-12. And then over in Argentina, mate, the crowd was amazing. Nems, your thoughts on the game and who stood out for you?
Oh, mate, that game was crazy. Just the stadium, the atmosphere looked...
Yeah.
It was like packed, sold out, eh? Like, that's the first time I've seen them play at that sort of stadium. It was in Santiago.
Yeah.
They played really well. Again, it was one of those things where I think South Africa were probably shocked. Like, they got some good play. Like, they had a, good team. I thought they probably took them lightly. And Argentina came out, and like we said last week, right? Argentina, they're hot and cold. If they're on, they're on. Yeah. And they dominated that game. Like, for me, my biggest was Julian Montoya. His leadership, he led, and he just, he just played really well. Led from the front. It was funny. There was a few times there he was translating for his teammates from Spanish to English. Yeah. So. I was just really, impressed with the way they played, and like you said, Filippo Contaponi, he's changed the way they see things, and that chat about how bringing overseas players doesn't work and whatnot. Like you said, Tony, he's proving everyone wrong. Yeah. And he's just like I don't know. I just felt like South Africa were kind of like the All Blacks, just had opportunities, didn't take them.
Yeah, 17-0 they got up, and then Argentina just put on the gas.
It was literally like a repeat of the All Blacks against the Wallabies. And then Argentina just came out 17-0, and then, that kick for the last kick, I don't think you should blame. Everyone can blame. What's his name? The replacement.
Manny Lebok.
Mate, the South African... fans, man, like, bless them, but geez, they're some of the harshest critics, eh? Yeah. And I saw some of the videos when they lost. Mate, geez, tough being a Springbok, isn't it? But no, they the fans weren't too happy, and they were straight shooting one, and he's telling old mate that he should never play again for the Springboks. And I was like, damn,
mate. Credit to Russie at the aftermatch. He said, that wasn't the way we lost the game. Even if Money got that kick, we still weren't the best team on the day, and Argentina deserved to win. So, and he was like, I'm more upset for him because I wanted him to make the kick for himself, because all the hard work he's doing off the field. So I think there's still there's no panic stations for South Africa, obviously.
No,
but obviously,
they're the only ones that don't need to panic in this competition. Jesus.
Yeah. Fonz, your thoughts on the game, and who stood out for you?
I thought the centre, Chocobares. Not only a good player, but a great name too. Love for those, I don't think a lot of people on this side of the world know. A lot of these players that play for the Los Pumas are actually playing in the French top 14 and playing and starting and actually in form. I just don't think people, just because people don't watch the top 14 on this side of the world, they don't see these guys. And these guys are standouts. Chocobares starts for Toulouse and outside centre. Like, he's actually rapid for Toulouse. I thought he had an awesome game. He set up that first or second try down the sideline. He broke through the tackle and opened up his wingers. I just thought, again, Argentina, as the game went on, they got better. They got shocked in that first 15 minutes with those tries from South Africa. But again, Argentina, like against the Wallabies 2 weeks ago, they just turned the switch on and they just piled on points out of nowhere. I think with Argentina, if they could be a bit more consistent, they could be a real threat. But, consistency for them is a big one. I thought their shape as well. You could see Felipe Contemporaneous, a lot of guys in motion, swinging around the two lines of attack. So they got runners running short and then out the back, and they're playing the right options and they're carrying hard and they're getting over their gain line. But I also... The Pumas is the first time ever they've won against all three nations in the championship in the same year. So they have come of age, I feel, and we actually missed them in Super Rugby as well, the Hagwadis. So all of those players were playing in Super Rugby, and then obviously had to go to either Europe or Japan. So look, again, Lebok, he shouldn't have got blamed, I thought, as well. Some of those comments were ruthless. Poor bugger. Jesus Christ. Winner takes all in South Africa now. So this is 1v2. This is like a final.
Like you said, people on this side of the world don't watch top 14 and are unfamiliar with these players or players in Europe. And that's the same thing when I saw Santiago Carreras not starting at 10, and he was the fly half during the World Cup, and I thought it was gone. But then Thomas, what's his last name? Albornoz. I googled him during the game because he was killing it. And I'm like, he plays for in Italy, that team in the URC.
Treviso.
And I'm like, mate, this guy. And we never. I was like, man, Santiago's too good, and then this guy's absolute. I can see why he's the starting 10. So, mate, Argentina plugging away well, and like you said, big game this weekend in South Africa. So those 7 rested players definitely going to be back in. How do you see this game, Nebs?
First of all, I'm going to expect a reaction from the Springboks. They ain't going to be messing around this week, even though the game is in Nelspruit. Nelspruit? How do you say it? Yes, it's not a stadium where they always go and play at. It's not common. They go play there, but not all the time. I'd like the Springboks I like the RGs to to come away just for the competition. It'd be good.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Look, the Springboks, they're double world champions. They've got enough trophies in their cabinets, but unfortunately, the world ain't perfect, and I just think South Africa we're gonna expect a reaction. All those 7 big dogs will play. And Razzie, I'm sure, will have some of the most creative speeches in those team meetings, getting them hyped up. Because I tell you what, they ain't gonna. I just can't see it happening. And just again, when Argentina beat the All Blacks the week after, they tend to just fall off. So, as much as I'd love RGs to win this and win the competition, I just think the Springboks will, they'll get a reaction. Otherwise, they're going to get abused.
Imagine
by their own
Argentina.
supporters.
Back in Argentina, all the people they're celebrating, like, probably won't be as big as when they won the World Cup, Soccer World Cup, but mate, they would go off their head. But yeah, Rusty even said in his aftermatch that, you know, everyone's getting a talking to, not just the players, but the entire coaching staff as well, because they definitely have to look themselves in the mirror. So,
How good.
so yeah, I feel like this is going to be a big win for the Springboks. Box, who do you think is going to get it, and by how much?
12 plus.
12 plus. Oh, 13 plus. And
Sorry, 13 plus.
Yeah.
13 plus, no fuss.
All right, so punters lock in Springboks.
Hey, Toady, I remember about 2-3 years ago when the RGs beat the All Blacks in Christchurch. They were paying $17 for the win. And a couple of mates actually put a big multi on, and that was the last one that come through. $1,200, mate. It was off a $1 bet. So, yeah, I know. That was the biggest weekend they've ever had. I've never seen Kiwi celebrate a All Blacks loss like that.
Fine, then I'll go put a bet on.
No, I don't see that happening.
Gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
I think the crowd's going to help the Box as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But much anticipated. I'm sure everyone tunes in just for this. But let's select our TRC team of the week. Starting with Loosehead. I've only had one name, Oxenchi. He was massive for the Box.
Yeah.
So, yep, all the same. So that was easy one for number one. Loosehead, lock in Oxenchi. And then Malcolm Marks. And then number two, because I had Malcolm Marks, but then asterisk, it could have been anyone else because he didn't really have his best game either. There was a lot of missed throws. And so did you guys have anyone else on at two?
I had Julian Montoya.
Yeah, true. Just no fuss.
I had the same.
Yeah.
I had the exact same. Montoya.
I love how he's like those Latino teams, like the Spanish and Portuguese, do it as well. Like they look like they're fighting each other, but it's just the way they talk on field. Like it looks like they're turning on each other, but they're just keeping each other accountable. So yeah, we'll put in the RG's captain Montoya. Montoya.
Yeah, Montoya. Julian Montoya.
Yeah, Montoya.
Yeah.
Leicester Tigers.
And
That's
then
the boy. Yes, that's right.
Mate, Leicester. Oh, nice kit. I just realised your kit, mate.
My.
Yeah.
What's it? The initials still on there.
First you shout out your BPA with that Montpellier link, and now you just Leicester Tigers.
Yeah. I just had to find a jumper to put on. It was just one lying around.
Okay. And at tight head, I had either Daniela Tupou. I thought he was unlucky in a lot of the scrum calls as well in the first half, and he looks a lot fitter than he was 2 weeks ago, so he must have been run club the last 2 weeks. And also Vincent Koch for South Africa came on the bit in the second half. I thought he's what they needed in the second half, but unlucky for the boys to not get the result for him. But I had those two at tight head.
I did.
Is Williams, is he a tight head or is he a loosey?
He's lucid.
Yeah.
Lucid. Yeah. No. I'll mate, toss a coin.
I actually had Scullivi from Argentina.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He scored
the try.
Scored off the back of the maul.
Yeah, I just didn't want to give it to him because Ox made him fly a few times in the scrum. So you can't make team of the week if you're flying at scrum time.
Yeah, you can't, mate. That's your bread and butter.
He did get BCF in a few times, but again, he's another one that starts for La Rochelle.
Yeah, mate.
And comes off the bench sometimes for them as well. So, I thought he played well, but he did get BCF.
He's a big bull, mate. Him and the replacement prop that came on made his debut. They're like look like twins. And I'm like, mate, the future is great for the Argentinian scrum. But we'll put this one to our story, our Instagram story. Yeah. We'll see who our followers are gonna pick. So if you're watching and you want to vote, go head over to the Pig Athletic Club Instagram page. And at second row, I had the two Saffers, but the Eben, who came on in the second half, I thought he was great in the second half. And then Rua Nokia, mate, he's just crazy in the air at line-out time and also making sure they get that ball off the kick-off as well. Who did you guys have at second row?
I had Luke Kahn.
Yeah. Impact off the bench.
Impact player, impact bench. Yeah, forward's not my forte, so I just. But he did make a big impact. Old Luke Kahn. So.
Massive impact.
Yeah.
Fons, who'd you have?
I actually had the other South African, Murat.
Ooh.
I thought he was a workhorse.
Yeah.
For the box, I had him, and I actually had Tupavai.
Yeah.
I just think Tupavai with him, his work rate is high, and he's quite gets a lot of touches. He's a bit like Satiti, quite mobile. So that's who I had.
All right. Well, that's another one we'll have to put on the story. So head over and vote for your second rowers. And at 6, I had 2. Oh, actually, I had 1, but I had a notable mention to Van Staden from South Africa. I thought his first half was amazing. He had 2 decent turnover wins, but Wallace Satiti was just incredible. Another incredible week for him. What are you boys?
Yeah, Satiti. Can't go past him.
Mate, Freeney was like, mate, imagine if all Islanders were like this, just no nonsense, just put your head down and just get to work, mate. His numbers were crazy. What was that? I'll read it out anyways. It was 16 carries, 1 line break, 10 tackles, and a crucial turnover, like less than a metre from the try line towards the end of the game. Crucial turnover. Wallabies probably could have won if they kept that momentum. So, mate, he is incredible. Okay, so lock in William Wallace Satiti. And then at the open side flanker, I had Fraser McWright. 61 metres, 1 try, 150-22, and 17 tackles.
Yep.
Incredible. Yep. Good to see him back. And at 8, I had Harry Wilson, 16 carries, 21 tackles, 1 turnover win. Or Adi Savea, 16 tackles, 2 turnover wins, and a try. So I couldn't pick out of the 2.
I actually had Harry Wilson.
All right.
Oh,
yes. Mate, I was surprised how good he was, actually. No disrespect, but, mate, he was outrageous,
good. It was good. I mean, Artie always plays pretty well, so... Someone like Harry, he you could tell he was up for it that game.
Yeah, I somewhat didn't notice Artie until I looked at the stats after the game, which is normally when you see some of the workhorse players. But yeah, Harry Wilson had a cracker. And then number 9, it's Cortez Ratima from New
Zealand.
Yep, agreed. Cortez Ratima.
Yeah.
And then number 10, I had the Argie's 10, Albanos.
Yeah.
Albanos.
Yep.
So lock in Tomas Albanos. On the wings, Caleb Clark and Mateo Carreras from Argentina.
Yep.
Agree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Flying for these one.
They actually,
both of them both killed it.
Is Carreras from Leicester as well?
Newcastle. Falcons.
He's transferred over to Bayonne now.
Oh, Bayonne.
Mate,
he was at Newcastle. Now he's got the top 14. So
he you know those 2 wingers, they're like your dream wingers, right? You want like a big one and then a quick rapid one.
Quick one.
Yeah.
Oh man, as you can tell, I was a big one. Slow.
So lock in Caleb Clark and Mateo Carreras, and then in the center I had Santiago Chocobares at 12 and Rico Ioane at 13.
Yeah. Yes. Mate, you know what? Rico played well. Like I got to hand it to him. Wasn't much, he didn't get much praise, but I thought he did his job well. Old Rico.
I thought it was defensively better than. His defensive game is improved immensely. So I thought, especially when he put that pressure on, and then they got the turnover, and then Artie went over for the try. I think, I went Rico. You boys have anyone else, Fons?
No.
I did have an honourable mention, and that was Sinti from the Pumas. I thought him and Chocobares were just cutting shreds out there. But I agree. Rico, he played well. I don't know if you've seen some of the comments. He was calling out a few fans on social media.
What was he saying?
They're just, typical keyboard warriors. He's just, and one of them mentioned, I think his brother Akira. So he just told him to keep his brother's name out of his mouth. So, I thought it was funny, you know. I reckon more players should call out fans.
Mate, yeah.
I reckon
Good.
Yeah.
Well, he luckily played well, so he can shut him up. So,
Yeah.
lock in Chocobares and Rico Ioane. At fullback, I couldn't pick between Will Jordan, Tom Wright, and Afalele Fassi.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I had Fussy.
Yeah.
Fussy, yeah.
Fullback for South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought in a losing team he played well, I thought.
Yeah. He's getting better and better, eh? Like
Yeah.
I think he'll probably, you reckon he'd be the mainstay fifth fullback, like taking over LaRue?
Yeah. Mate, that line he ran for his try, mate, unbelievable.
Yeah. It's actually not a bad 15, guys.
Yeah. Probably our best one.
Yeah.
But notable mention, Tom Wright. I thought he's been one of a real good player. Just it's not clicking yet for the players around him. But once the other boys start clicking, I think Tom Wright will get his he'll get there in that team. I'm sure he's waiting to get that starting spot in our team of the week. So yeah, stay in the fight, brother. So yeah, that's our team of the week. Make sure you roast us in the comments or head over to our Pig Athletic Instagram to get your votes in. Okay, over the weekend, this weekend coming up, the WXV kicks off in Canada, Dubai, and Cape Town, I believe it is. Boys, I've given you the task to shout out one team. It could be from either WXV 1, 2, or 3, and any players to keep an eye out for. Nems, you want to kick us off?
Look, we talk about them all the time. I'm going to give a shout out to the Wallaroos girls. That win's coming. It's coming. Look, I watched their game against Wales. I'm sure they'll be disappointed, but they're just a lot of errors. I think cost them that game. A lot of errors and just a bit of urgency there. Wales, but they I thought they played well, but I just think they can just get a bit of urgency. And just eradicate a bit of those errors, they'll do well. So my shout-outs to the whole Wallaroos. I think they play Wales again. Yeah. I think they play them. So game 2, girls, fuck, let's go. How they say it in Sydney, let's oge.
Let's oge, yeah.
What the hell? Who comes up with that sort of stuff? But yeah, Wallaroos girls from 1 to 23.
Yeah.
You go.
Yep. Some positives from their game, like you said. They are improved from the weekend before, so big things coming. Fons, what team do you want to shout out?
There's actually 2 teams in the XV1, and it's actually not who you think. I actually want to see how well Canada go. They're hosting it.
Yep.
And they won the Pac-4 and beat the Black Ferns earlier in the year in New Zealand. So they're actually looking the best they've ever looked, Canada. Yeah. And the other team is actually France. I know everyone talks a lot about the Black Ferns in England, but France are sort of like that team that's just like just behind those 2 teams. Yeah. And they compete with the England and Black Ferns. But one player I'd like to mention who I think she's a great player is the inside centre for France, and that's Gabrielle Vernier. Yeah. Very good centre. She's been in that team for 7 years. She was last year's Six Nations Player of the Year, and she was last year nominated for World Player of the Year as well. So she's a very good player, solid. She's not big in size, but great tackler and runs good lines. Yeah. And she's be crucial for France. So that's one to look out for.
My one's from WXV 3. They snuck in through the European qualifications. It's my adopted nation, the Netherlands, the Dutch Dames. They beat Fiji on the weekend in a warm-up game, and they meet Fiji again in Dubai. I believe their WXV 3 is in. My players, they've got 3 players. The captain, Exeter Chiefs stalwart, Lynn van der Velde, also from Castricum. She's second row and back rower, so she'll do some damage huge in that competition. And then there's two girls that did some time here in the A-on-7 series in Australia, Pluk Kevit and Kika Mulling. So keep an eye out for the Dutch dames. They're ranked number 16, so they might sneak into the World Cup next year. So success, heel success for the dames. And then let's go into top 14. How did your teams go? Fons, how did La Rochelle go on the weekend? Because my team played Nemza's team this weekend.
So yeah, La Rochelle, good win over Pope, 49-25. I don't know if you remember the old Stormers winger Dylan Lates scored a hat-trick.
Yep.
Played very well for La Rochelle. But La Rochelle got 3 Aussie boys in there. Kane Douglas.
Mate, he's playing well. Old grey-haired Kane Douglas. Yeah,
him. Obviously, Skelton in the locking department. And off the bench, Tolu Latu. So, 3 boys there for La Rochelle against, obviously, Jack Maddox over in playing for Poe. So, mate, how good are the atmospheres? Saw some of those videos, the one you posted up, Tony, over the weekend, just the pre-match. Nems, you were there, and you would have seen all of that, walking into games.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like France, it's just, because they're all village, like they're all small towns. Even the small towns are probably a bit more raucous than the big ones, but man, just the atmosphere, like you just don't get it when, like that was probably the biggest thing coming back to Australia and spending, my last season with the Waratahs. The big difference in the environment and the atmosphere, you'd go to the game and you'd actually be like, I'm not saying you always pump for the game, but like, you're actually getting things pegged at the car, at the bus and all that. But no, it was, it was good. I enjoyed my time in France. So, but while we're on that, my team played Toulouse and lost at home in Montpellier. Again, not the start. Toulouse, it's always hard. It's always a derby game between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, onwards and upwards for MHR. Big shout out. Just want to do a special shout out. The Premiership in England started, and the URC started as well. So we might have to cover that in the future. But my old team, Leicester Tigers, beat Exeter in Exeter, which is a hard place to go and play and win. They won 17-14 on the buzzer, and good to see guys like Isaiah Parisi. He fits well there. Solomon Ikata, he's ex-Brumby. He played, and Ben Volovola came off the bench, kicked the goal to get it in. So good to see these guys, obviously under Checker, and I'm sure with Checker there, they're going to do really well. So, yeah, Leicester Tigers and Montpellier, that was my 2 teams.
Nice. My team, won 20-11 over Nemza's team, Montpellier. Did you play with the two, who's it? I think they're Georgian, the Kakatsa and Chaparitse?
Yeah.
Mate, I just had a note from them. It's just funny off the ball how they're little push and shove. Mate, they get angry real quick. Like if the other players just give them a little shove, they go all in. They like go over.
The Georgians, you just got to watch out. They're dangerous, man. Like the Georgians that we played with in Montpellier, they all had like AK-47s and just in their house. And I was just like, bro, there's like one of them had a bloody pistol, like a 9mm in his Harley Davidson. Like they're just crazy, the Georgians, man. They're good people, lovely people, but their hobbies are definitely different to ours in terms of choice of hobbies. If you want a semi-rifle, MR, whatever, they've got it.
Yeah, I was laughing because Ramos was in like push and shove with one of the other Montpellier players, and then what was it? Chaparitse, the number 3, he came over and like just to say, "Come on, man, relax," to Ramos, and Ramos just shoved him a little bit and then walked off, and then the 3 just ran after him and just to give him another push. That was great. But no, they got some decent players in Montpellier as well. Who do I want to? Collie, the 9, I think is from under 20s, French under 20s, and Cardo, I think he came off the bench and added a bit of spike. But mate, Manny Merfol, his physical. He's just massive second rower. He put a big shot on the 7 for Montpellier, and then Jack Willis from English number 7, mate, unbelievable. Yeah. And also, even Blair Kinghorn, the Scottish 15, I think he went well for Toulouse as well. So, mate, Glamour Club and another Glamour Premiership coming up. So keep an eye out for Toulouse this season. And then it wasn't until Fonz put it in our chat this morning, the Currie Cup Grand Final, mate. The Sharks and the Lions. Thoughts on the game, Fonz? You're the one that got us to watch it. The thoughts on the game and how it ended. What an ending!
Wow, the first half was actually nil-all.
Yeah,
and there isn't actually any points till like I think the 40-something minute. I think it was. But I just watched that last bit at the end. Oh, there was some pretty shady calls at the end. I actually thought the last maul was actually collapsed.
It was collapsed.
And then the ball spelt out the back. And
I had to rewind it, and then you hear the ref going down by the Lions, and I'm like, this guy's literally going like this, trying to chop everyone's legs off. I'm like, and then that turnover.
I just thought Jordan Hendrickson at the end, kicking that penalty at the end. I mean, oh man, that video awesome.
Yeah.
But I think what's the sour taste in a lot of Lions supporters is he's a Lions man.
Yeah.
And he played there for 3 years, and the Sharks actually signed him last year. So he's actually one of the Lions sons, and their own son kicked that penalty at the end. But I just want, we've got a few South African viewers. I just want to ask them what they feel about Currie Cup. I know New Zealanders feel, a lot of connection with the NPC. I just want to know what South Africans think about Currie Cup, because obviously they love the Springboks and their players are overseas. But what does Currie Cup hold for them now? Because you look at the Cheetahs. Obviously, we spoke about it briefly. The Cheetahs, they got no rugby now.
Wait, what happened with them? Oh, they're not in URC, is it?
No, they're not in the URC.
They're not in the URC, nor is the Southern Kings, because when the 4 franchises from Super Rugby went north, it pushed those other 2 out. And so what you have is the Free State Cheetahs. They don't play anything else but Currie Cup. They might play the odd European game. That's not till later.
So that's why that's why the Force play them.
There's talks about them trying to get into the Super Rugby.
Yeah,
come back. Which I think is a good idea, because then
I think it is too.
Get them over there, and at least you got the South African tours. But Cheetahs, it'd be good if they can get 1 or 2 South African teams involved in Super. I think that'd be But it'd be crap for us. It'd be good for South African rugby, because then they'll have everyone playing professionals.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for the comp, because it actually gives the South Africans something to look forward to in Super Rugby again.
Yeah.
And also, I think for those that don't know, the Free State Cheetahs, they're actually quite a big province in South Africa.
Yeah.
The Farmers in Bloemfontein, they don't have the big money like the other big clubs there, but Francois Steyn is running them now. Yep, see, good mate from Montpellier there.
And Boini, Ruan Pinard.
But mate, why wouldn't you have them? Why wouldn't you have them in Super Rugby? That'd be great. I mean, it would struggle for them. All the away games would be in Australasia. That'd be the only issue. But I'd say let's take them.
Well, they're used to it anyway, because they travel, the URC. So. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you don't have to travel another eight more hours, but still.
I'd say they just base up in Perth, because it's pretty much South Africa anyway. So.
Playing Perth.
Piffontein.
Because they actually played the Force a few times in trial games, like last year as well. Do you remember that?
They're doing it again this year as well.
Oh, there you go.
And we only had one question. It was Wallace Atiti. Boys, thoughts on Wallace Atiti so far? 2 games for not 2 games, but 4 games now, I think, for the All Blacks. How do you think he's gone?
He's done well. I think he's each week he's growing. You know what I mean? Like, he's just getting better and better, and it's going to be hard for him not to be in that 15 All Blacks. If he keeps, level-headed, and I'm sure he's got some good people around him, and that's, I think, the biggest thing like for us Islanders is not letting it get to, and I'm sure he'll have some good people in his corner. I think that for me probably the only concern is that just make sure he's got good people around him, and I think he'll go a long way. He's kind of like a Islander version of Ethan Blackadder.
Yeah, work rate, mate.
Work rate. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
nonsense,
just
no
like,
nonsense. Yeah, no celebration or anything.
Nah.
Just gets to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's kind of like Ethan Blackadder, but a Samoan version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to steal that line. Thanks for that.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah, right, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, man, he looks very comfortable playing Test rugby, but I'd like to see him at 8 still.
Yeah.
I still think I'd like to see him in 8 and see Artie move to 7.
Yeah.
Whether or not they do it, I'm not too sure. I just think we shouldn't be playing players outside their position. I mean, I think half the reason why Artie went to 8 was because Sam Cane was there at 7. So
Yeah.
I feel like Artie could still be the same player at 7.
Yeah.
And obviously you have Satiti at 8, who can roam a bit freely off the back of the scrum as well.
Yeah.
So he's just come out of nowhere. He only played a handful of games at Super Rugby, and then
5 games.
now look at him, he's in the starting lineup.
Crazy,
Man.
yeah. And on Sam Cane as well, I got a feeling that he won't be touring with them in the Northern Hemisphere. So I feel like this might be his last game, might be jumping gun, but I feel like All Blacks fans need to actually realise what's happening here. His last game for the All Blacks, mate. If you look back in the past, when he first started, he was like pushing Richie McCaw, who is arguably their greatest 7 for a spot in that black jersey. So, mate, we all go, oh, wouldn't it be nice to see those players play one more game, and then so might actually be his last game. So I think if he gets picked, I think the All Blacks fans need to really think about this, watching this one, and give him his flowers.
I would say one thing about Sam Cane. I remember the first time I watched him play, it was actually for New Zealand schoolboys at Ballymore back in 2009.
Yeah.
And he was the captain. And do you remember Kamami?
Yeah.
Kamami, he made a big break. I thought he was going to score, and then Sam Cane just covered 60 metres and pipped him in the corner. And I thought, geez, who's this flanker? And that day, Sam Cane and Liam Gill won the bronze boot back in 2009.
Wow.
But I think Sam Cane, I think you're right, Tony. I think he won't go to Europe, but I think he'll go to Japan and play his 100th game.
Yeah.
That'll actually be
this
his
week?
100th
Oh,
game.
yeah, that's right. They got that game after.
It's either this week or
No.
I think he might be on 99 or 100. Not too sure.
Yeah, it's
but
this week, Bruss. He was 99 last week. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I wasn't too sure it was this week or it was going to be the next one, but
Yeah.
I know they go to Japan before they go to Europe, so that's another game they can maybe. I think they want to get into 100. That's what I think. So
Yeah, for sure.
That'll be unreal,
Yeah.
As much as us Wallabies fans hate him, mate, we respect mate, and what he's done for the game. Mate, what a shout, Kamami, mate. Remember him in the 7s when he first got onto the scene? Holy,
Yeah.
that fender is.
I remember watching him play for Queensland schoolboys down in New South Wales.
Yeah,
when they had Sam Talakai. Remember Sam Talakai?
yeah.
Kicking goals in the warm-up. I said, don't ever kick goals again. But anyway, they played Queensland schoolboys, and that team was stacked with Kamami F. Sortia.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Chrissy was 15. He was still at State High there.
Yeah, he was only 14 or 15. He made schoolboys that year.
15.
And Kamami had, back then we had the GHD.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys had that, eh? That's why you're all bald now like me.
Scutsy.
Yeah, and he had the Dax. Bro, I'd never seen a guy wear so much Dax in a rugby game. But anyway, thankfully, he scored 4 tries that game, so I was like, lucky man, mate. So, but he was, Kamami, man. He was the man. Actually, he's in France, but he's been in France the last 10 years.
Yeah, he loves it, mate. Yeah.
Him and his wife, Gardenia. So they watch this every now and again. So bonjour to you guys. He's actually doing rehab. He did his knee. He's doing a rehab. So shout out to Big Kamami.
Yeah,
Who can speak Italian, Spanish, French. Friends with he's friends with Mbappe and all them. So
just needs to learn Tongan. Next.
Mate, he's good value, old Kamami.
Shout out. And then I thought we had a bit of we didn't do well last week's multi. So I thought I'd mix it up. I'll give each of us a competition to pick 3 games to give us 1 to 12 or 13 plus. Nem's English Prem. Did you look it up?
No.
we'll add it to we'll add it as a tile later in the week, so we'll get them to look at that. We'll actually add it to Pig Athletic Club social media page later in the week. We'll save our tips for there. So if you're actually watching our tips, make sure you head over to the Pig Athletic Club social media page. Our boys shout outs. Who's a shout out for the week?
My shout out for the week is. And just shout out to congratulations to the Fiji Flying Fijians winning PNC. You know, a lot was said about them. You know, obviously Japan were going to win and all this, but I just see what excites me is that these guys are only going to get better. A lot of them are in the draw squad, so it's going to be crazy when they all return back as, you know, fully fledged sort of test players. So. Big shout out to Flying Fijians. A lot of good talent. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but
scary. Mate. They didn't just win; they bloody annihilated.
They smashed them. Yeah.
And that's not Fiji's strongest. It's not even Fiji's strongest team. That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, and none of the European-based players played, and it was a draw team. It's pretty much Japan versus draw.
Yeah.
And again, that Caleb Muntz at 10. And Ravula at 15, far east. When you saw that, Ravula coming in, right, and playing as another 10 when Muntz wasn't there, mate, and you don't really see that with Fiji. Like, we're just 110, and that's it. And then it's hope for the best to the wing, you know what I mean? So Fiji's changing, man, and I put in a tweet last night about maybe we could try and sneak him into the rugby championships one day.
Yeah.
If there is one in the future. There isn't one, is there? Far.
And shout out to Ikanevere. I think he's the best Fijian hooker I've ever seen. Mate, he's probably one of the best in the world. I reckon once he tests himself over in Europe, mate, another level.
His work rate's amazing, isn't it, Tavita?
Yeah.
He'll be the captain for Fiji for the next 10 years.
I wanted to get last week's, because I saw a comment on last week's when we selected our Pacific Island 15. I forgot who it was, but I just wanted to ask Nems, did you play with this Fijian guy? I forgot his name when I was writing my my Pacific Island 15, but it was the number 7, Akapusi Gera or something. Greta?
Oh yeah, it was our captain, 2015, Akapusi Gera.
Yeah, I was trying to, and then I left him out of my team because I forgot what his name was, but I remember him being one of the craziest Islander players in I think he played over in Europe, in France.
Yeah, played in the UK for Gloucester for so many years, and then went to Montpellier with me.
Yeah.
Then Agen, then Toulouse, and then but he played in that 2007 World Cup game when they beat Wales.
Yes, that would have been the year, mate. The Fijian team that year.
Yeah, that's when he burst on the scene. So yeah, Akapusi Gera, he was our captain for years in the Fiji team. Good player.
Yeah, and shout out to everyone else. Shout out to everyone else fixing our Pacific Island 15 from last week. Fons, is your shout out for this week?
Just before we shout out, I don't know if you saw that back on the Fijian game, Eddie Jones at one point. Oh, mate, he looked like he was hating life. These tries just keep coming in. I thought, oh, Jesus.
He's full yelling. And there was a lady, I think there might have been his translator.
The translator,
and she's like...
mate, it was so funny. But... there's actually, I got 3 shout outs, and it's all the guys hitting their milestones. Obviously Kane. Montoya's the other one. He just had his 100th the other week. And the last one is a huge shout out to Slipper. Yeah. The most capped Wallabies ever, 140. Congratulations to him. I mean, geez, he's he was done he played against him in school, Nems? I think he might have gone to TSS or something.
Yeah, he was a bit younger. He was younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah. He was younger. 1 year younger than me, so we didn't. I might have played him. Yeah, sorry, TSS Nudgy. Yep.
Yeah.
But played him. Yeah, 05. He would have been. Yeah, he's a year younger.
Yeah, just a huge shout out to him. I mean, he's a real timid guy by the looks of it. When you ever listen to him on interviews, he's you never hear a bad thing out of him, and he's been, I think, great for Australian rugby over the last 14 years.
Yeah, what a man. I had him as my shout out too. I got a bit, he really pulled the heartstrings when they showed that really before the game, when Stan did that little piece on him. And when he said, I think Hoops was interviewing him, and Hoops asked, what do you think of when you put on that gold jersey? And he said, I think about my family who I'm playing for. And then he said, I think about when I have that number 1 on my back, I think I'm representing every loosehead player in Australia. So, and then now I'm like, oh, that was me, mate, one time, and you never think. So shout out to Slips, mate. Great achievement, and still going, mate, still giving the goods. So yeah, shout out to the boys. Boys, thanks for calling in. Guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Up the Wallabies.